What's up, Positive Filter listeners? It's Philip Wilkerson back with an episode of Positive Filter. I'm still on a podcast break, but I also wanted to share a live episode. I went live on Facebook, and I'll put the link to that live in the chat, or not in the chat, but in the show notes. And then I just kind of did a recap of what's going on with the podcast and had a special announcement, which you have to check out this episode to hear. So hope you enjoy and have a good day. Welcome to Positive Filter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help along the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, Positive Filter listeners. It's Philip Wilkerson with a live episode of Positive Filter. I'm in the studio, aka my basement, on this New Year's Day, and I'm so excited to be coming into the new year, celebrating, or hopefully celebrating many things to come. So I just want to give an introduction of who I am. My name is Philip Wilkerson. I'm the host of Positive Filter, a podcast about family, friends, work, a whole bunch of stuff with a positive lens. Every episode, I try to take obstacles that we may have and turn them into a positive learning experience. So I have a variety of guests throughout this podcast. I've been podcasting for about 3 years, since 2017, and I'm just really excited. Hey, how you doing, Danita? It's good to see you, and thank you for joining me. And so I just want to go in. This is a live episode. I'll be recording this. I'll also be releasing it on my normal podcasting lanes, which is iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, all that. But I also have an opportunity, even on this live show, to just throw in some questions. So hopefully I'm not going to take up too much time. This will probably be at the most 30 minutes. I have a little run of show, and then we'll go right into it. So just to give you an overview, 2020, was a terrible, chaotic year. And I'm not going to specifically talk about all the things up in the news, and not to sound narcissistic, but I'm going to keep the focus to what was some of the successes of the podcast in 2020, and just share some information for those that are interested in getting into podcasting. I'm very transparent with the progress of the podcast, not because I want to gloat, or at the flip side, trying to hide numbers, but I just want anyone that's interested into getting into podcasting to know that everyone starts somewhere different. So, with this podcasting lane that I've had some successes and some learning opportunities, and I want to just share those with you. So at this moment, for 3 years, I've had about 39,000 downloads of the podcast, and downloads from all over the DMV, but some interesting places around the world like Ghana, Nigeria, Portugal. And so those are things I'm really excited about. Another thing is the podcast, because of how well that it has been doing. Each episode has been downloaded, I think, about an average of 185 times. And so for someone out there that thinks, there's certain podcasts that get millions and millions of downloads, for me, that's major, because, it just knows what I think about with my lane of, 185, is that mean each time I'm releasing an episode, I think of a room. And a room of 185 people is pretty big. And so that helps me practice my public speaking like I'm doing right now. This is all practice. And then just for the announcement of next season, I'll be starting season 4 in season 4 of the podcast will be returning March 8th. And so I take a podcast break, but I have over 25 guests lined up. I've been recording like crazy over winter break, and I'll be bringing back the podcast Positive Filter in 2021, March 8th. So mark your calendars. Be ready. I'm really excited for season 4 of the podcast. All right. And so now I think it's also a special announcement time. So I have two major announcements for the listeners right now. So one is I did a 50-50 raffle, and I'm going to do the results right now. And hopefully I might do another 50-50 raffle just to have some ways to, buy some new supplies for the podcast, but also reward the listeners. So I got my little jar right here. I'm going to do a little shake up. And let's see, who is the winner of the 50-50 raffle? Congratulations. The winner of the 50-50 raffle is my good friend, Christy Michaels. So I'll be definitely giving that money for the 50-50 raffle. Thank you so much for participating and celebrating. All right, that's announcement number one. Now, announcement number two. I've been ready for this and really excited. So, in between this season, I am starting and launching a new podcast. And the name of that podcast is Positive Filter Short Takes. I'm really excited for that. So if you've been following the podcast, normally each episode is a hour-long episode. And so I realized that sometimes I get random thoughts. If you know me, I'm a very random person. And I wanted to just share some quick jolts of inspiration. So in the new year, I'll be releasing little short episodes, and it's its own podcast. So right now I'm working on it getting uh, available on iTunes and Spotify. But right now, if you want to check it out, you can look at the website. It has its own little website to check it out and listen to these episodes. I'm putting that in the chat right now. And then those are just quick jolts. So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing it weekly, bi-weekly. Whatever comes to my mind, I'm just going to be throwing out very small jolts of inspiration. It's called Positive Filter Short Takes. So that was something I'm really excited to doing. I had a little test group of people I would send my voice memos to see if they rock with the content. And a lot of people gave me positive feedback and said, you know what, this is something maybe you could turn into an episode. And I thought so. That was a great idea. Just another lane of sharing some of the thoughts that I have in regards to well-being and positivity. So please check that out. And then I think that's pretty much it. Those were some of the things and why I went live today. I had a quick run of show and things I wanted to share. If anyone is listening, and I have two things. If you're listening and you want to have, send me some questions now, I can answer them about what I want to do. And then two, some of the other things too, if you don't feel comfortable sharing questions now, you can always share questions via my podcasting form, which is right here. I put that in the notes as well, or in the chat. And if you ever want to be a guest on the podcast, you can always fill out my podcast guest form, and I'll try to get back to you. So now that I have those in the chat or right now, does anyone have any questions for me, or that you just want to answer in regards to the new year? And I'll just leave it open for a little while. I'd love to also hear from some of you. What are some of your goals? And also, thank you so much, Danita, for sharing that love. I will definitely appreciate that, the love for it being an upward movement. So thank you so much. Okay, well, that was it. That was my quick live. Congratulations to Christy on winning the 50-50 raffle. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast in 2020. 2020. I'm looking forward to more success in 2021. Please follow along on different platforms, the other second level of the podcast. I really, really appreciate all the support. I couldn't have done this without my fellow guests that have joined me on the podcast. I couldn't have done it without my listeners. I couldn't have done it with just out family and friends and people that just support. This is really something that started 3 years ago, was just a way for me to share a voice and try to be positive and make a difference in my own lane. And I really wouldn't expect it to be this. And particularly in 2020, I really didn't realize, how much the podcast was something that helped me with my own well-being during the turbulent year. Like, at least knowing that I had a consistent outlet to connect with other podcasters and, just have a community. There's a whole podcasting community. It was really helpful for me. So if you have any questions, please put them in the question form. If you ever want to be a guest on my podcast, please fill out the guest form. I'm open to anyone that wants to share my platform. And additionally, if you ever want to get started with your own podcast, feel free to reach out to me in the messenger or whatever. I had someone help me 3 years ago get started, and I always pay that forward. I always want to support someone else that wants to start their podcasting journey. So always open to supporting someone else that wants to get into this lane. So with that being said, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Please continue to support all my different avenues, and that's it. Have a good Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, okay, here goes a question. All right. Are you most productive in the morning, midday, or afternoon? I would definitely say normally in life I'm a morning person. But with the kids being home and all that stuff, I had to kind of be productive all throughout the day, right? I got to be productive in the morning, take a little break, and then when the kids go to bed, I have to be productive with some of my goals, particularly these podcasting goals, late in the evening, post bedtime. So COVID and this world has made me kind of think about how I schedule my time and time management. But naturally, I would say I perform best in the morning. Good question. Is there any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Definitely going to end this broadcast now. This will be live on Spotify as well and iTunes. And then please just follow along with the second podcast, which is Positive Philter Short Takes. I'm going to put that one more time in the chat, and it will be in the show notes of the episode, so that when people, if they do listen to this, they can get that. So that is one more time, Positive Philter Short Takes. All right. Have a good day and Happy New Year.
Welcome to Positive Filter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. Tell me that it'll do right, baby.